A searingly hot paddock greeted the Formula Boss Ireland drivers on July 17, 2022 in the middle of a heat wave. All efforts were made to keep both drivers and cars cool right up to the last minute before qualifying. The atmosphere was intense. Cars would make it to the track. Paul O'Connell and Jonathan Files would not be joining us this weekend in the Finnstown Castle Hotel Gaswise.ie Formula Boss Ireland Championship, so the F3 battle between Aaron Cochran and Tony Greenan would take centre stage. Out on track for qualifying, and it was clear that Tony Greenan had brought his A game, taking fastest time of 51.25 after putting in 17 laps. Aaron Cochran was pushing hard and claimed a 51.562. Michael Roach was just behind them in the 52s. Noel Robinson was fourth in the mid-54s, while Daniel Farty made it an all-Dallara F3 top 5 in 5th. Donald Griffin was the fastest of the big cars with a 56.204 in his 5-litre V8 Reynard 90D. Tom Cochran in the 3.5-litre Dallara World Series was on the same second with 56.801, and Colm Hines was back in the 3.8-litre Reynard 88, just 15 hundredths behind. Johnny Keating buzzed the sub-1000cc Jedi around for a 57 to take 9th, while fellow boss rookie Joe Christian was 10th. Here is our grid for race 1. Gary Graham had sorted a gear selection issue that emerged during a sprint also held at Mondello the previous day, where he'd finished 6th overall among some very powerful cars, but had developed a clutch problem on the morning of the race. He would now start from the pit lane, where the boss cars would be a real attraction over the lunch break. It wasn't long till they got their green flag and it was time to take to the track. Even in these temperatures, the drivers felt the need to warm their tyres. The race starts. Tony Greenan gets away fairly slowly. Aaron Cochran makes a good start. Noel Robinson doing well there. Into turn 1, Tony Greenan has a look up the inside. Noel Robinson has a look around the outside, Aaron Cochran, but it works out that Robinson gets into second place. Greenan third, Donald Griffin up to 4th. Michael Roach is missing. Back at the start line, we see that he's stranded. Gary Graham gets away from the pit lane. With the short national track, it'll be a mad rush to get that car cleared. Aaron Cochran leads them in from the country. Noel Robinson second. Greenan, Griffin, Faherty, Hines, Tom Cochran, Keating and Joe Christian. At the start line again, Michael Roach is pushed to safety with just seconds to spare as the field comes into view out of the final turn. Aaron Cochran leading, Noel Robinson second, Tony Greenan third. Can he make a move on Robinson here? He's well tucked into his gearbox. Donald Griffin leads the midfield, Daniel Faherty 5th, Colm Hines 6th, Tom Cochran 7th, looking menacing. Beginning of lap 2, and that's an adventurous move by Tony Greenan on the inside of Noel Robinson. He just kicks the dust up this time. Daniel Faherty's ears must be ringing as the big cars roar out into the country in front and behind him. Aaron Cochran is starting to make ground, so Tony Greenan will be mad to get at him. Noel Robinson, however, is doing a fine job of defending his position. Daniel Faherty's car looks nimble through the curves. He's putting Donald Griffin under pressure here. And that's very impressive to see Johnny Keating in the 1000cc Jedi holding his own just behind Colm Hines and Tom Cochran. At the end of lap 2, here comes the manoeuvre from Tony Greenan. He flicks it to the inside of Noel Robinson and it's a drag race down the straight. And he's through into second place. Donald Griffin holding his position against Daniel Faherty. And that looks like Tom Cochran going around the outside of Colm Hines into 6th place. The World Series car going well today. The beginning of lap 3, Aaron Cochran has a good lead. Tony Greenan begins his pursuit. Donald Griffin makes his advantage on the straight. Daniel Faherty closes back in, but the V8 will make more ground on the way out to the country. Aaron continues to lead. Tony second. Noel third. Tom Cochran is closing right up on Daniel Faherty, who's in a really powerful sandwich now. And I think Keating has made a little bit of ground on Hines. Michael Roach finally gets going, while the others are completing lap 3. Aaron takes a tidy line. Tony looks a little loose. He's going to burn some rubber to catch Aaron. Noel Robinson's on course for a podium finish. Donald's still in 4th place, but Tom Cochran is coming up the inside of Daniel Faherty, and he's up to 5th now in the World Series car. Colm Hines blasts away from Johnny Keating down the straight. Lap 4, Tony Greenan has closed a little bit on Aaron Cochran. Noel Robinson keeping in touch with them. Now Tom Cochran, who's been moving his way through the field, focuses attention on the back of Donald Griffin's Reynard. Back at the start finish straight, Gary Graham has caught up with Joe Christian. He moves to the inside line, and he moves up to 9th position. Greenan must be wishing he'd made more of that start, but he only made the move to single-seaters about a year ago, and he's right up there in the championship battle overall this year. What's that coming over the hill? Tom Cochran having a little look past Donald Griffin. Both these drivers have worked very hard to get these cars to track. They will be relishing these racing moments. Michael Roach looks to be going well, but unfortunately he's a couple of laps down. Aaron leads. Tony using all the curbs in hot pursuit. They're stretching away from Noel Robinson now, who now has a great margin over the hotly contested 4th place. Let's listen to these guys pass our fixed camera. The rumble of Griffin's V8 Reynard, the slightly more shrill World Series, the high fidelity F3 of Faherty, the second rumbling Reynard of Hines, and the screaming Jedi of Keating. They kick up the dust on this searingly hot day. Tyres will definitely begin to overheat before the end of this race, perhaps giving an advantage to the lighter cars as the laps wear on. That looks like a little moment there for Gary Graham. He's kicking up the dust as if he was off track, but he has plenty of margin over Joe Christian. They are still a couple of laps ahead of Michael Roach after that stall on the start line. The race leaders are not far behind him on track. Here comes Aaron Cochran to finish lap 5. Tony Greenan keeping him honest today, as Noel Robinson maintains his course towards a podium position. We look to the distance to see that 4th place battle. They're close coming onto the straight, but the Reynard does seem to have just enough power to maintain a little bit of comfort in a straight line. But is it enough for the corners, as the World Series is a much more modern chassis? And Tom Cochran makes use of it up the inside of Donald Griffin there. Daniel Faherty sees an opportunity too and has a look up the inside of Donald Griffin, but he should probably lose the drag race now. Tom Cochran released. He's already made quite a bit of ground, and Donald has seen off the attack from Daniel. Gary Graham has recovered a lot of distance from Joe Christian, and indeed Michael Roach has passed him, and the leaders come up to lap him. On the start of lap 7, we see Tony Greenan has passed safely too. Gary Graham can benchmark himself against Michael Roach. Aaron Cochran looks to have stretched his lead over Tony Greenan. Is it the traffic, or are the tyres coming into play? Noel Robinson looks to be experiencing a little bit of movement from his. Tom Cochran looks very securely in 4th place. Faherty still looks like he has ambitions on 5th. It's great to see Colm Hines' car going so well. Looks like Michael Roach is about to take a lap back off Gary Graham, but he's about to lose one to Aaron Cochran. Into the S's, and Michael and Aaron have passed Gary, and Tony Greenan is lining up to do the same. 4th to 8th place have shuffled a bit during the race, but they've stuck together so far. Aaron Cochran safely passes Michael Roach and moves on to lap 9. Tony Greenan begins his move past Gary Graham. No issues there, and Gary can follow Greenan for a couple of corners. Lap 10 begins. It looks like Michael Roach could have sat quite comfortably in 3rd position if he hadn't had those problems on the start. Aaron is certainly making up for the disappointment of not finishing the last race. Noel Robinson begins lap 10 in 3rd position. Joe Christian about to be lapped by Tom Cochran. But behind them we see that it's Daniel Faherty up to 5th place. Donald Griffin is slowing. He's definitely limping along the pit wall. Colm Hines goes past, as does Johnny Keating. Oh, that's a shame. It was going so well so far. There's Aaron Cochran now, coming up to lap them. So that's a trouble-free Tom Cochran in 4th place. Joe Christian letting Daniel Faherty by in 5th. Colm Hines in 6th place. Johnny Keating now up to 7th. And there's the limping Donald Griffin. Doesn't seem to be an engine issue. Aaron approaches at speed and passes unhindered. 3rd place Noel Robinson starts lap 11. Just as Tom Cochran comes into view at the beginning of the start-finish straight. In 4th place with Daniel Faherty 5th. And that's Joe Christian in the distance with Johnny Keating coming up behind him. Aaron Cochran leads onto lap 12. Colm Hines in 6th place going on to a lap 11. Tony Greenan 2nd. Michael Roach is 2 laps down on him. There's Donald Griffin, who does seem to be able to keep cruising. He pulls over to allow Gary Graham to pass. Tony Greenan is safely past Hines, and Michael Roach now gets himself onto the same lap as Hines, but has all of the way to go round. Graham is now up to 8th. That was actually a pass for position. Colm Hines looks like he could be slowing a bit. Could there be another opportunity for Gary Graham? At the end of lap 12, Aaron Cochran laps Johnny Keating. 2nd place Tony Greenan comes up to do the same to Joe Christian. If Michael Roach does the same, it'll actually be a position gain. Gary Graham on the last corner of his lap is actually passing Colm Hines coming in the pit lane there. Gary is up to 7th. Noel Robinson has passed the limping Donald Griffin, who's actually moved up a position now. So nursing his Reynard round is paying off. 4th place Tom Cochran enters the straight. Daniel Faherty doesn't quite seem to be able to exert the same pressure on the World Series car as he was on the V8 Reynard. Johnny Keating keeping well out of the way of Tony Greenan. It looks like Keating actually has a problem. He's slowed right down. Aaron and Tony start lap 14. As Gary Graham comes onto the straight, he once again picks up a position, because that's Johnny Keating going into the pits. Gary is now 6th. There's our 3rd place man, Noel Robinson. 4th place, Tom Cochran. In 5th place, Daniel Farty. Donald's still circulating, and that's Aaron Cochran navigating his way around him. Aaron starts lap 15. Donald Griffin is determined to make it to the flag, but he's about to lose a position to Michael Roach, whose determination is also paying off. Apart from those who've retired, he's also already picked up a position from Joe Christian. As 4th place, Tom Cochran goes by, chased by Daniel Farty. With Aaron Cochran about to lap them, we might get to see father and son side by side in a moment, albeit a lap apart. Roach passes Griffin up to 7th. Tom is now in Aaron's sights. But the World Series, Delara, is no pushover on the straights. Well, that's one way of keeping an eye on your son's progress. He'll be glad to see that it's Aaron passing him first. Now it looks like Donald Griffin will lose 8th position to Joe Christian. I think Tom will be impressed to see how well Aaron is going in the new car, as opposed to last year's car, which Tony Greenan is driving behind him. As Aaron starts lap 17, the World Series is holding its own against 2nd place Tony Greenan. The flagman moves to his post. This will be the last lap. Aaron Cochran looks sure to take the win now. Tom Cochran in 4th place, Tony Greenan in 2nd. That's our 3rd place driver, Noel Robinson, who looks like he'll just about manage to stay on the lead lap. Tony Greenan has now passed the 4th place Tom Cochran. Gary Graham is heading to the line in 6th. Not bad considering the bump start from the pit lane. Joe Christian is heading for 8th. Donald Griffin pulls over to let Noel Robinson pass. If he slowed down a bit more, he wouldn't have to do another lap. Because that's Aaron Cochran just about to take the checkered flag. Tony Greenan, an excellent 2nd. That's 4th place Tom Cochran. 5th place Daniel Farty. Aaron is delighted with that. He made that one look easy. Michael Roach rescued a 7th place finish. And Gary Graham will equal his result in yesterday's sprint with a 6th place overall. Joe Christian picks up a position from Donald Griffin, 8th. There's no Robinson claiming that podium finish in 3rd. And Donald Griffin makes the flag, 9th. He will have enjoyed that bit of dicing earlier in the race. I think to say Aaron Cochran was thrilled with that result would be an understatement.
It was a good start, got a good launch. I was worried about the start because, to be fair, I had a bad launch the last race here, so I was kind of sitting going, what to expect. But once I got it off the line, I got Tony before turn 1, so I took the inside, kind of slowed everyone up a bit. But had the lead and just led it the whole way. To be fair, managing the tyres was the biggest trick really to the race.
Is that a really big factor on a day like today?
Well, you see, my tyres, they're not new, they're old. They've probably done 5 or 6 races now, the rears. So they're okay for probably 6 or 7 laps, and then the last 6 or 7 laps, you're really having to manage where you're picking the throttle up. But it was fine. To be fair, I was happy out. The lads were giving me the pit board so I could see the gap, so I just sat and managed it then to the end. I was happy as Larry to see the checkered flag, but no, we'll take that.
Had a nice moment then as well because you got to come up alongside your dad.
Yeah, to be fair, I was coming along and I was like, oh, what can you do? But to be fair, it was great to see the World Series go well. Like, we've had some trouble with it at the start of the year, just getting through team issues, so it's nice to see it get a good overall finish.
You weren't going to pass him on the straight though, were you?
No, to be fair, I was absolutely flat to the boards, but we were going nowhere. But no, happily through turn two, he gave me enough space to get by him, so I can't complain. He must have lifted to leave me by him though. But no, happy out for the power it has. It's flying, absolutely flying. I wish it had a bit more power, but you can't complain. It's an absolute beast of a car. It's a pleasure to drive. The lads have done a brilliant job in Stone. I'm missing Brendan today. Congratulations to Brendan. He's had a little newborn, but we have the A team here. To be fair, the boys are absolutely flying it. So it's nice to get a win for everybody, for the team, for myself, you know what I mean? But it's nice because the boys have breaking their arse all morning to get the car ready. So I'm happy out. If race 2 goes anything like race 1, I'll be leaving here with a smile like a Cheshire cat. So
Tony Greenan was rueing his poor start from pole position, but looking forward to a second chance in the afternoon.
51.28, so on pole for both races here. First race there, I got a bad start, and Aaron Gacker and Noel Robinson both got me off the line. I had a wee bit of a tussle in the first lap, I think, with Noel. It took me a wee bit of time to get past Noel, and once I got past him then, I think Aaron was already gone, so the damage had been done by then. Next race, hopefully get a better start. I need to get a better start, and hopefully me and Aaron made a closer race the next time.
Noel Robinson, on the other hand, is getting pretty handy at the launches in his car.
Had a good start. That's 3 or 4 races in a row. I've got this wee car hooked up well off the line, but it's hard to stick with those guys. And first few laps was okay. We're in the soft tyres, and the heat, they're just going off so quick, overheating. But listen, I would never have stayed with Tony or Aaron. To be honest, they have too much pace for us this weekend. But that was good. 3rd place. If you told me I got 3rd place before I come here today, I'd have took it.
Yeah, another podium is a good thing.
Yeah, just keep racking up the points, and that's what it's all about, you know. So as long as you keep finishing, that's what counts.
Do you see that the tyres, do you actually get a lot of tyre wear, or is it just that they get warm?
They're getting so hot. You can even looking in the mirror, you can see the rubber flaking off. But that's their soft tyres, the heat. Everybody's struggling to get tyres at the minute, so it is what it is. But saying that, it wouldn't make a difference in trying to keep both Aaron or Tony this weekend. They're just too much pace and they're up their own. So 3rd was probably like a win for us, to be honest.
Tom Cochran was very happy to take 4th place in the Dallara World Series.
I loved it. In fairness, car run great. It's the first time it's been running sweet. Big thanks to Joe and the boys. Joe's done a great job with the ECU. I'd start to lose faith in it, but we'll spend the rest of the season getting it up to speed. Yeah, love it.
I think he particularly enjoyed the tussle with Donald Griffin.
It was very fair and clean, but it was good crack, you know.
Daniel Farty was back in his own car and mixing it with the heavyweights throughout the entire race.
Back in my own car for this weekend anyway, and 5th was a good result. Possibly could have come a bit further up the field, but look, that's battling and that's racing, you know.
Just like everyone, he was finding the high temperatures hard on the tyres.
Very warm out there today, so it is very slippy towards the end, so you have to be kind of careful when the tyres probably overheat a bit, and just your braking and stuff. Try not to upset the car too much.
Gary Graham explained how he ended up starting from the pit lane.
We had a lot of hassle with the car this morning, following the sprint yesterday. So we had to fit a new compressor to the paddle shift. Thanks to Jonathan Foyles, I got it off him last night, and we fitted the car this morning. So the gear change is working perfectly now. There's no problem there. But just before we went out for the first race, Connor was warming up the engine in the box, and the clutch pedal went to the floor. So that kind of put a huge damper on the race. So I had to start from the pit lane. and I had to get a pit. I had to get a push start and then start the pit lane. So I was playing catch up the whole time. So I caught 1 or 2 cars, but
He actually picked up a little bit of damage with this minor off here.
I actually spun up there on at the top corner, and I got to the grass and broke the front wing, so I haven't got the spare one with me, unfortunately. So it's just the usual tape it together and hope for the best.
It looks like just exactly the right yellow. That's a useful thing to have in the toolbox.
Absolutely.
Joe Christian was having a little bit of gear selector problem himself, holding him back.
Just we're having a bit of problems with the shifter there. It won't downshift going into the corner, so I'm having to blitz the throttle and really unsettle the car every time I go into a corner. So hopefully we have it fixed now anyway, and we'll be a little bit quicker in the next race, you know.
I asked him what his motor racing experience was before entering Boss.
No, this is like my first ever effort. Like I've done a couple of, I did a couple of track days in the Global. That would be about it, really, you know. Just do it, like, you know what I mean? Because otherwise you're just getting in your own way. Like, get into the car and learn it as you go. Like, all the lads are very understanding, like, and, you know, they move around you. So, you know, like, I'm a bit slower than everybody else, obviously, but, like, I'll get there, like, and, you know, it's good to be around other cars as well, you know.
At the other end of the experience spectrum is Donald Griffin.
I got a good start there because Mick Roach stalled on the line. So I got by him. I was in fourth in the first lap, and Daniel Fardy, was behind me, giving me a hard time. But you know, I was happy enough where I was. Yeah, I didn't have pace. I was here on Friday, didn't have too much pace, and I just got myself together and started going a bit quicker. So I'm kind of getting there because the pace is slow today, relatively speaking, and I was happy enough to be putting up the times I was doing. And I was getting away from Daniel Fardy then, and Tom Cochran got by Daniel and he came after me, but I was actually making progress getting him. He got by me.
Unfortunately then, he had mechanical problems.
It's a hot day, and you know, this thing runs, my V8 runs pretty hot. So I was a little bit concerned about that, but eventually anyway, I was catching Tom. My car, I think, probably has a little bit more power than Tom's, the World Series car, and clutch went to the floor. So I was stuck in third gear, and I drove around third gear just to get a finish basically. So overall I was real happy with that.
And so just 2 hours after the start of the first race, they were heading out for more. Luckily there was a little bit of haze taking some of the edge off the heat, but Donald Griffin and Kieran Hines had secured a dispensation from the organisers to run their big engines without their covers. And this is how they'd restart. Tony Greenan would get a second chance from pole position. Unfortunately, Gary Graham would have to start from the pit lane once again. After 2 warm-up laps on the short track, they lined up for the start. And there goes Tony Greenan taking full advantage of pole position this time. It's Aaron who didn't get away so well this time. Michael Roach is up to second as they head into turn 1. Tony Greenan leads. This is an opportunity for him to get away. And Noel Robinson has the inside line for turn 2 and takes third position off Aaron Cochran. Returning from turn 3, and Greenan and Roach are stretching out ahead. Tom Cochran has made a good start there in 5th. He's just behind Aaron. Daniel Fardy is leading Donald Griffin. Johnny Keating's ahead of Colm Hines. And Joe Christian's got time to make a bit of ground before Gary Graham gets out of the pit lane. There seems to be some delay in him getting going, because here come our leaders to complete lap 1. Tony Greenan leads, Michael Roach second. Aaron Cochran passes Noel Robinson up to third, Tom Cochran 5th. And there goes Donald Griffin passing Daniel Fardy. Greenan's car looks a bit twitchy, adjusting his position on the road. Michael Roach, smoother. Aaron Cochran free to pursue them now. Noel Robinson 4th, Tom Cochran 5th. There's Donald Griffin, he's consolidated that 6th position. Gary Graham would now have a lap to make up if he's to catch Joe Christian. He's a lap down now. Tony Greenan has a small margin ahead of Michael Roach. Aaron Cochran is crossing the gap between Noel Robinson and the lead 2. Tom Cochran is following Noel Robinson with interest. And behind Donald Griffin, Daniel Faherty's mirrors are filling with Johnny Keating. Colm Hines looks like he's winding the big car up to pace. Meanwhile, in the pit lane, Gary Graham still hasn't got going as the leaders come into sight once again. Greenan leads onto lap 3. Michael Roach second. Aaron Cochran third. Look in the distance there. Johnny Keating's having a go at Daniel Faherty. He's on the inside. Daniel probably has a little bit more speed on the straight. And Colm Hines is getting interested in what these guys are doing. On the left, it looks like they've got Gary Graham's car going as Joe Christian gets another lap down. No, the Formula Renault has faltered again. Out of turn 1. Greenan's car looks quite loose in the rear end. That can't be good for tyre wear. Michael Roach is pretty planted. Aaron Cochran pushing to catch them. Robinson's got to make the most of the curves to keep ahead of Tom Cochran's World Series Dallara. Oh, and Donald Griffin's car is slowing. He lets Daniel Faherty pass. Johnny Keating goes through. Just look how much dust there is off the line. Finally, they get a long enough push to get Gary Graham going. I bet a lot of people down the years have wished the Mondello pit was downhill all the way. Michael Roach is maintaining the pressure on Greenan. And look at the straight line Aaron takes through the S's. I'd say Tom is working hard to get himself lined up behind Noel Robinson on the straight. Daniel Faherty leads the midfield pack in 6th, with Johnny Keating behind him, Hines in 8th, and Donald Griffin seems to be back up to speed again. At the start of lap 4, I think Tony Greenan has made himself a bit of space from Michael Roach. And Aaron Cochran seems to be biding his time, probably hoping to catch the lads when they've worked their tyres a little bit more. Tom Cochran isn't close enough to Noel Robinson for a manoeuvre yet. Johnny Keating follows Daniel Faherty onto the straight. This could give an opportunity to Colm Hines, who's got the pace here. Again, the back end stepping out there for Tony Greenan, and Michael Roach is closed in by the end of that straight. Aaron's still biding his time. Tom didn't get close enough this time, but there's a little wiggle out of the back of Noel Robinson's car. And no change for Daniel, Johnny or Colm. Even though he only got going a couple of laps down in the last race, you could see that Michael Roach could keep with Tony Greenan for several laps. Now he's proving it. Now a long gap between 3rd place Aaron Cochran and 4th place Noel Robinson. And Tom Cochran is still looming large behind him. And there's more signs of movement from the back end of the F3. Behind Daniel Faherty, Colm Hines has passed Johnny Keating out the country. Gary Graham's car seems to be going fine once it's underway. The top 3 work the curbs equally. Greenan starts lap 5 in the lead. It's a big gap back to the 4th place battle. Tom Cochran's quite close to Noel this time. Yeah, it looks like he's going to move past him on the left. Round turn 1, and we see that Tom Cochran has carried that off cleanly. He's up to 4th, behind Aaron. Coming into the S's, and Tony seems to suddenly have a lot more ground on Michael Roach. He's dropped back towards Aaron. Oh, and there's Donald Griffin coming to a halt. On the last corner of lap 5, we see that Aaron has actually passed Michael Roach. He's up to 2nd. Tony Greenan leads. Now we see Aaron's tyres coming under pressure. Michael seems to be going okay again now. Coming into the S's, and Greenan is lapping Gary Graham. Yeah, Michael's dropped back a bit more. There's definitely a problem in that car. That's been a bad day for him. A good result was even more tantalising in this race. Tom Cochran has made a good distance from Noel Robinson now already. Joe Christian will be next to get a front row view of the leaders. Aaron makes a clear pass of Gary Graham. Michael still has a good bit of distance ahead of Tom Cochran. Tom Cochran begins lap 7. And behind Noel Robinson, we see that Colm Hines is putting Daniel Faherty under pressure. He lines up for a manoeuvre as Donald Griffin pulls into the garages. Into the S's and Greenan has passed Christian. The blue flags are out for Aaron to do the same. Michael Roach is holding on to third. Tom Cochran is on his way. Noel Robinson in 5th place. And there's confirmation that Hines has passed Faherty. Tony Greenan leads onto lap 8. Aaron Cochran just behind. They've got clear road ahead of them now, having passed Christian and Graham. That looks like Michael Roach is slowing yet another degree now, and Tom Cochran is rapidly closing. The middle of lap 8. Aaron Cochran has a lock on Tony Greenan. As they come down the main straight to begin lap 9, it's game on. At the end of the straight, Aaron seems to have a little bit of a braking advantage coming into turn 1. At the start-finish line, Tom Cochran appears onto the main straight before Michael Roach. He's now up to 3rd place. Noel Robinson now promoted to 4th. Colm Hines is in 5th. Daniel Faherty 6th. And there's Michael Roach. He's really crawling now. Johnny Keating will pass him now up to 7th. Coming into the S's, and Aaron Cochran has a big look up the inside of Tony Greenan, who's run a bit wide. He holds the position though. They're coming up to complete lap 9. Could Tony sustain this kind of pressure for 7 laps? Aaron has a little look around the outside on turn 1 as they catch the ailing Michael Roach, who only a few minutes ago was splitting the two of them. Daniel Faherty is back ahead of Colm Hines. Johnny Keating still giving chase. As we look for our leaders, Aaron is working all the road behind Tony Greenan to lance his way through. They enter the straight to complete lap 10 very close together. They're travelling as one. Tony's car has pace on the straight too. Aaron closes right in under braking. They're overlaid coming out of turn 1 as they transition into turn 2. Back at the line, Joe Christian passes Michael Roach up to 7th. As Tom Cochran maintains a solid 3rd place ahead of Noel Robinson's 4th and Daniel Faherty's 5th. Tony and Aaron continue to race as they pass Johnny Keating, who manages to keep well out of their way. Down the main straight to start lap 12. Aaron looks like he'd like to split Tony Greenan from the pit wall. Johnny Keating continues to enjoy great reliability from the Jedi in 6th place, as unfortunately Colm Hines retires to the pit lane. Cochran not monstering Greenan the way he did on the last lap through the S's. Wheel spin from the World Series out of turn 1, and is there something on the track there? Joe Christian has spun. Noel Robinson does well going round him. 5th place Daniel Faherty begins lap 12. As the leaders complete it, they'll have Joe Christian to pass next. Joe keeps a cool head and waits for a good opportunity to reverse. Aaron has a strong look up the inside coming into the S's, trying to force an error from Tony. It doesn't come. Christian manages to reverse to the other side of the track before Tom Cochran comes through. Oh, and it's unlucky 13 for Tony Greenan because Aaron Cochran has just gone round the outside as they go on to lap 14. He's held it down the straight as they enter turn 1. He puts his car sideways to block the whole road. Aaron is into the lead. Cochran got that done at a good time before they hit a lot of traffic, including Michael Roach, who could have been right in the middle of this battle. He puts his car right up the curb to keep out of their way. For someone who's just started motor racing recently, Joe Christian shows good motor racing discipline, keeping out of their way as they enter the main straight to start lap 15. It doesn't look like Noel Robinson's going to be able to stay on the lead lap in this race. Such is the pace of the leaders. With a bit of reliability, Joe Christian is going to pick up a nice result today in 7th. After 4th place in the last race, Tom Cochran's on course for a podium finish in the Dallara World Series. Noel Robinson on course for 4th, and there's our race leader, Aaron Cochran. Tony Greenan should be satisfied after putting up a good clean defence. Aaron passes Noel Robinson onto the start of lap 16. The Blues come out for Tony to do the same. Tom will be delighted to see that it's Aaron that appears in his mirrors first again. It looks like father and son will be 1st and 3rd on the podium. A great way to spend quality time together. Another 5th place finish would be very solid scoring by Daniel Faherty. Aaron looks set to do the double this weekend as he starts the final lap. Tom will have to let Tony through. Aaron suggested that he had to lift to let him by in the last race, and Tom does the same for Tony this time. Doesn't look like there'll be any last minute dramas as they head for the flag. I think Noel Robinson is really stretching the life in those tyres. For the second time today, the checkered flag comes out for Aaron Cochran, who's looking very strong in the championship now. 2nd place, Tony Greenan. 3rd place, Tom Cochran. 4th place, Noel Robinson. 5th place, Daniel Faherty. There's a different number of laps between them, but they've come through in formation. Aaron Cochran celebrates. Joe Christian is 7th. Further back the lap, Gary Graham passes Michael Roach, who's determined to make it to the flag. So Gary Graham had 6th place in the sprint yesterday, 6th in the race earlier, and 8th in this one, to complete a very busy weekend. Johnny Keating is 6th. And here comes Michael Roach to claim that 9th. There was evidence of a champagne shower by the time we made it back to the pits.
Tom Cochran, father and son on the podium.
Yeah, 1 and 3. Fair play.
Nice one, huh?
Yeah, it was good. It's good. Car's going. Dream, absolute dream. You know, the target was to bring it home for the 2 races. Done more than that, so it's done well. Yeah, it's gone really well. I'm going to get used to it now and finish the season off and bring it back next year, please God, bigger and stronger.
I think this time I got a better start off the lane. Actually, I think Mick Roach was right behind me there for a couple of laps. I thought Mick was going to give me a hard time. Mick backed off, and the next thing I checked in the mirrors and I seen Aaron coming for me, and I said, oh no, here it comes. So Aaron caught up with me anyway. I think I held him off for 3 or 4 laps. He was right on my tail. It was brilliant racing. Easily the best race I've ever had in my life. Brilliant. But fair play to Aaron, he deserves the win, Hard man to hold off.
It was lovely to see the friendly rivalry between these two.
That was a great race. I thought it was brilliant.
The best race I've ever had in my life, yeah. Fair play to this man.
He made you work for it, didn't he, Aaron?
He made me work hard. Tony's defence was, he did nothing I wouldn't have done myself. He put it in the right places, made me work hard, to be fair, but I really enjoyed it. To be fair, it was the best race I've had. Hey. Man, Tony.
Nice stuff.
Happy days.
Yeah.
Happy days. But no, happy with that, can't complain. Car ran brilliant, really, to be fair. Had a bad start, which annoyed me a bit, but I me and Brendan were chatting before the race, and he said to me, just make sure you get no oversteer them first few laps to carry the tyre late into the race. So I kind of just said, right, stay calm, just keep plugging away. I got no after a lap or two, and then Mick had an issue with the left rear, which, to be fair, Mick gave me plenty of space to get by. It was great. And then I just concentrated on trying to catch Tony. When I got on the back of Tony, it turned into Titanic. It was mayhem, so it was. But we had a great dice. Tony was absolutely savage. In defence, he was just savage. And the cars were so even, like they run the same engine, so coming out of corners, like he just had the exact same power. I loved it. It was a tough little dice, to be fair. Delighted with the car. Car ran really well all day. The boys have done brilliant getting it ready to go. Even Bren, like the fact Bren's not here, he's still on the phone in your ear, giving you the tips, telling you what you need to do to have a good run. So big thanks to Bren for all the help, and everybody, to be fair. We're chuffed with that, absolutely chuffed. Biggest shout out to me dad, to be fair, for letting me drive the car.
Yeah, and like, look, the two of you on the podium, isn't that really cool?
Yeah, I'm delighted. I keep saying I'm delighted to see the World Series start to get up there, because to be fair, the car has great potential. My dad has good potential. So it's nice to see him get a good result out of it. So I'm sure he's happy as Larry. So
Great stuff.
Fair play. Thanks very much.
More of it.
Yeah, fingers crossed we have a good run the next one.